What's up guys, Tech Kid here. Today I'm going to show you my Bravo Blitz deck. So this deck I've just played to a 3-0 finish at my local Blitz Armory event. And so finally finished my deck, got a few foils, so I just wanted to show you my deck and how I'm playing Blitz with Bravo. So I've got us going 3-0, so it means the list is an absolute utter garbage anyway. So starting off with the equipment, first of all, a hero card, got Bravo, 4 intellect, 20 health, and as an action you can pay 2 resources to give your attack actions with cost 3 or greater dominate until end of turn, and then go again. It's really good, giving you large attacks dominate. I've got Anathos as a hammer, 4 attack, costs 3 to attack with, and while there are 2 or more cards that cost 3 or greater in your pitch zone, it's got +2 attack. Works well with Pummel. You're attacking with this a lot in this build. It's a bit of a slower, more defensive build. It's a great weapon. Onto my main equipment loadout. Basically, unless you're playing against any other specific matchups which I'll mention, you want to go with Helm of Iceland's Peak. So defense for 1's got an ability that will come up sometimes. You've got the Tectonic Plating, Seismic Surges. So blocks of 2 with Battle Worn. Once per turn action, you can use a resource, make a Seismic Surge and go again. This is very handy. You're doing this almost every turn, unless you really need the resources to keep set up for a large turn down the track, and it allows you to reach some important breakpoints with the costs. For example, do this on 1 turn, get a Surge, next turn, pitch 2 blues, dominate a Spinal Crush, or you can just play a Crippling Crush without domination. Or also this is good with the hammer, because the way it works is you pitch a blue, create a Seismic Surge, pitch a blue, attack for 6, and you'll be threatening a Pummel. You've got 2 resources left. Your opponent will have to decide whether to overblock. If they do, you probably just, if you've got a Pummel, you just don't play it. They've wasted cards. The Pummel's still safe in your hand. So it's really useful, synergizes really well with the deck. This is probably the most important equipment for this deck. If you had to only get like 1 expensive card for this deck, I mean this is the only expensive card, but really expensive card, but this is you need this to be able to play it well. Next we've got a Crater Fist. It just blocks for 2 and then 1 because it's got Temper. I've never used this. Like, you will never need to use this action destroying it. It's just really good defensive value. Finally, Iron Rot Legs. There's no Guardian legs, just use these. That means that the leg slot will have the most customization for sideboard options. So onto my equipment sideboard. So starting things off, I've got the 4 Null Rune equipments for playing versus Wizard. You can generate enough resources that it's easy to create 4. You could get 5 Null Rune with the Null Rune Shield, but that would mean you would have to switch to the weaker hammer, and Anathos is extremely essential for this deck to function, so we'll just go with 4 Null Rune here. You can also swap in the Null Rune Boots if you're playing versus something like Viscera with Rune Chant tokens. Alright, next, Mage Master Boots. Didn't actually play these today, but I was suggested. Good synergy between these and Tome of Findle by one of the guys there at the event today, James, who used it against me when we were playing. It's really good. The boots only offer 1 defense, so it doesn't really matter. These are usually good to bring in a more grindy matchup where you will see your Tome of Findle, and you will be able to give it go again and play it from your arsenal with the Mage Master Boots. Finally, got the Time Skippers. This is just mainly to play versus Prism, where you can pitch it in the late game, get it for action points, use your hammer, get it an aura, get in a big attack as well. It's just good. Bring these in against Prism. The 1 block legs will not matter much versus Prism, since the little tokens only attack for 1. The big attacks, you've got more than enough stuff to break them with Phantasm. So that's my main equipment. So remember, Time Spheres, Mage Master Boots, 4 Null Runes, main set of equipment, Iron Rot Legs, Crater Fist, Tectonic Plating, Helm of Iceland's Peak, then Bravo and Anathos to round it off. Okay, so moving on to the deck of 40 cards. I play an extreme blue heavy build. It's just blue heavy build, more of a controlling build. lots of blues, some big attacks, remembrance to recur them. So let's get into the reds first of all. So for the reds, here's our main attacks that we're using. We've got 2 Crippling Crush, we've got 2 Spinal Crush, and we've got the new card Pulverize, which I just pulled in foil for my prize pack. So Crippling Crush, 11 attacks, 7 cost. It's a Bravo specialization, and if it deals 4 more damage, the opponent discards 2 random cards, which is really nice. Spinal Crush, this I have to play in my deck. 2 copies because it completely destroys Ninja. It makes them so they can't play on the next turn. It also does well against a Prism build, trying to get lots of little Spectral Shields and attack with Luminaris. Lots of go against stuff. It's just really powerful. You can also dominate it for 2 resources if you've got a Seismic Surge token, because it costs 5. So you can go Surge next turn, pitch a blue, Seismic Surge, pitch a blue, Bravo, got 1 floating, another blue, play this with Dominate. And then Pulverize, got this as a 1-of. You'll often just block for 3, but if you can heave this into your arsenal, it'll cost 7. It'll usually be costing 6 because you've got another Surge, Seismic Surge, or you can go 7 and then 2 more resources from Bravo to dominate it. It really forces your opponent to try and take back the tempo in an aggressive move next turn to try and deplete resources from your hand. You probably, if they can't get there, if you manage to weather it off, use some of your equipment, then chain for 14. It's pretty good. All right, next up, we've got Pummel, 2 copies. This Pummel is just important. It's really good with Anathos. It can turn it to 10 damage with Anathos. I'll just find my Anathos because that's a hammer. You can also play it on your attack actions if you've got enough resource. Make them discard a card. It's really good. It's probably one of the best cards in the deck. Yeah, and the good thing is you can have 2 resources, have a card in hand. Pitch, Seismic Surge, pitch, swing with Anathos for 6. Your opponent, if their life total is getting low, they may overblock, in which case if they overblock, you just don't play the Pummel. Just arsenal it, leave it in your arsenal, and then it just stays there and continually threatens them without being played. Most games, Pummel's generated me far more value than 1 card value, so I'd say probably it's one of the best cards in here. Finally, our life gain package for red. We've got 2 Blessing of Deliverance. This card's so good. Go again, it only costs 2, so you can make a Seismic Surge on the same turn. Even just a turn with, if you have a blue and a Blessing in your hand, you're usually good to go because you pitch the blue, play Blessing. When it comes into play, you draw a card because all my blues have 3 or more cost. Try to be as consistent as possible with those blues. If you draw a red, that's annoying. You can just arsenal it though. If you draw a yellow, you can not make the surges still hit with your hammer, although it will only be for 4 because both my yellow cards have cost to 0 and 1. It also gains you usually 2 to 3 health. I think I've gained 1 health from this very rarely. It usually gets me 3, occasionally 2. Very powerful card. Finally, you knew this was coming. It's the 2 copies of Sigil of Solace, gaining 3 hit points, 0 cost. Amazing card. Don't think anything more needs to be said about Sigil. Moving on to the yellows, we've just got playing 2 yellows, starting off with 1 Remembrance. This is annoying when you draw a late game, but it's so valuable being able to recycle. We only play 5 main actual attack action cards, so being able to recycle them, even just recycling some blue resource cards back into the deck is extremely handy. Late game, it gets banished. We only play 1 copy because it will clog up your deck too much otherwise. And then 1 turn of Findle. I mentioned how this interacts with the Mage Master booth beforehand. It's also just really good, even if you aren't doing that, you can block with it for 2, which is fine. You can play it from your arsenal, gain quite a bit of health. Similar to Blessing, but a bit worse. But synergizes so well with Mage Master boots, can gain you 4 life. I've just included the 1 copy here. So they're basically the only cards that I'll be playing, apart from some of the blues. So as you can see, there's 13 cards here, which means I'm running 27 blues. Let's have a look at those. Right, starting off, I've got the blues into a few categories. First of all, the blues, all my blues have 3 block, over 3, 3 or plus cost, and 3 pitch value. because they're blues. So they all will trigger Anathos, which is really nice. So first of all are the blues with basically no effect, 6 attack to deal with Prism, because there's no point playing a blue with 5 attack when there's enough with 6. So we've got 2 Buckling Blow, 2 Macho Grande, 2 Thunder Quake, 2 Disable, 2 Debilitate, 2 Cranial Crush, which is sometimes played, 1 Choke Slam. Yep, these are good. They do the trick and they're useful versus Prism. Next up are the blues which will sometimes be played. Oh no, I'll go on to these blues. So these are just blues that don't really attack, don't 6 or more, but they're sometimes handy and they're just rounding out my deck. So we've got 2 Showtimes. These are occasionally you can shoot up a Crippling Crush or something with them. They're good. But there's nothing else you'd want to include in place of Showtime here. It's mainly just a resource and defense card. Same goes with Towering Titan. And Thump. Thump's fine. It's a good card. If you pummel it, you've basically won. 4 and then 2 for pummel makes 6. You will very rarely, but sometimes play this. Finally, we're on to the blues that will actually be played sometimes, and I'll go through these one by one. Starting up, we've got 2 Terra Thunder. This is probably your best blue. It says 3 cost, 3 pitch, 3 block. Your next Guardian attack this turn, not attack action, attack, gains +1 attack, dominate, and if it hits hero, they discard 2 cards. So play this on the Anathos basically. So with a 3 card hand, you can 2 blues and a Terra Thunder. You can pitch a blue, play a Terra Thunder, pitch a blue, attack with Anathos for 7 with dominate. If it hits, not crush, just if it hits, they discard 2 cards. Very powerful. This won me one of my games today. It's just an amazing card. Nerves of Steel. This is one of the additions from Everfest. Basically, 3 cost, 3 block, 3 pitch. When it enters the arena, remove a -1 counter from a chest equipment you control. Basically means just get rid of the counter from the tectonic plating. Battle Worn and Temper on equipment you control doesn't trigger if it defends an attack with 2 or less attack. This is really good versus Ira with her Kodachis and also versus Benji, although I did play Benji today, but I didn't get it out. I did not have the time to get it out because I was just able to Spinal Crush, which shows how good Spinal Crush is versus Ninja. When your heroes dealt damage, destroy Nerves of Steel, but yeah, this is good versus Ninja, so Benji, Katsu, Ira. This will be amazing, otherwise it's a good resource card. Stamp Authority is extremely good, can give your hero more intellect. Their attack action cards don't trigger when they hit, it's good against Guardians, they have lots of stuff hitting, gives you more intellect. It's just a really powerful aura if you have the chance to play it. Finally, this one comes up rarely, but when you play it, you've got there, it's Last Ditch Effort. So 3 block, 3 pitch, 3 cost. When you play it, if you've got no cards in your deck, it gets +4, putting up to 8, and go again. So you can effectively set up a situation where you've got 2 Last Ditch Efforts, no cards in your deck. If you're playing a really control-y matchup with lots of fatigue going on, when you're able to do that, when you're able to play like 2 of these, set up to play 2 of these in a row, that's 16 damage for 6 resources. That is impressive. That is really good. So you'll be winning the game there, especially if your opponent has used their resources quicker than you, because you want to be pitching a lot, blocking sometimes, and then using a bit of your equipment to soak up the damage. Alrighty, so thank you for watching my deck profile. Now I'm going to discuss some of the things about how I like to play this. So first of all, I'll just quickly go through the equipment again. So you've got this. The only times you will play these 3 is when you're playing versus Wizard, in which case you'll play 4 Null Rune, or depending on how you feel, 3 Null Rune and attack plating. Remember, Iron Rot Legs, you can switch this out for a control matchup like Oldham, controlling Bravo. I'm not sure if there's any other controlling Blitz. This is versus Prism. Yeah, this is basically just for the final. Yeah, you just want to get some hands with a few blues, make some Seismic Surges, pitch the blues, and get in there with your big Guardian attacks. Alright guys, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed the deck profile, and I'm glad that I've finally done decently in an event and 3-0'd my local Blitz Armory. So let me know any feedback in the comments. Share with me your personal insights into Bravo deck, Bravo the deck in Blitz, maybe even in Classic Constructed, how you feel about playing with, against Bravo, any important matchup decisions, and most importantly, anything I've missed. And if there's anything I've missed that you pick up, I'll probably pin your comment if you say it, so that we can let everyone know. Alright guys, thanks for watching this video. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.